was home alone that night. It was winter, and the house felt wrong in a way I couldn't explain. Cold makes everything sharper. Sounds don't fade. They crawl. Every small noise feels like it's meant for you. My parents had been gone for months by then. They said it was a long work trip, somewhere far away. At first, they called every few days, then once a week, then nothing. No messages, no missed calls. I kept telling myself they were busy. I needed that to be true. There was one rule in our house I had followed my whole life. Never go into the attic. Not to clean, not to store things, not even to look. The attic door was in the hallway ceiling, always locked, always ignored. Whenever I asked about it as a kid, my parents would change the subject. Once, my dad snapped at me so suddenly it scared me quiet for years. That night, the heater was running, but the house stayed cold. I sat on the couch with the lights low, the TV on mute, just letting the screen glow so I wouldn't feel so alone. That's when I heard it. Something above me. Not loud, not clear, just a slow dragging sound, like weight being pulled across wood. I muted the TV completely. The sound came again, longer this time, from the ceiling, from the hallway, from the attic. I told myself it was the house settling. Old houses do that in winter. Still, I stood up. I didn't want to. My body moved before my brain agreed. The hallway light flickered as I walked beneath the attic door. The sound stopped instantly. I stood there, staring at the ceiling, my heart beating so hard it hurt. Then came something worse. A knock. Soft, careful, from above. 3 slow taps. My stomach turned. My hands shook so badly I had to press them together. Without thinking, I whispered my mom's name. Nothing answered. I brought the step ladder from the garage. I remember telling myself I would only look, just enough to prove there was nothing there. The lock was already open. That's when fear finally took over. I pushed the attic door up. Cold air spilled down, sharp and rotten, like something sealed too long. I climbed halfway and turned on my phone flashlight. First, it looked normal. Boxes, old furniture, dust floating in the beam. Then I saw shoes, 2 pairs, placed neatly. I knew them immediately. I climbed the rest of the way up. They were lying near the far wall. 2 bodies, wrapped in old blankets. My mom's sweater was visible under one of them. I had given it to her last winter. I remembered that clearly. Their faces were pale, their mouths slightly open, their eyes dry and staring, like they had been watching the attic door for a long time. I tried to scream. Nothing came out. My legs gave up and I dropped to my knees. They didn't look fresh. They didn't look decayed either. They looked kept, like the cold had preserved them. Behind them, carved deep into a wooden beam, were words scratched unevenly, like someone didn't want to write them but had to. Do not come up here. I don't remember climbing down. I don't remember opening the front door. I only remember the cold air burning my lungs as I ran barefoot into the street. The police came later. They searched the attic, took photos, asked the same questions again and again. But they didn't find anything. No bodies, no blankets, no writing. They said the attic was empty. They told me grief can do strange things, that the mind tries to protect itself. It's been months now. My parents are still missing. Their phones are dead. Their bank accounts untouched. No proof they ever came back. And every winter night, when the house goes quiet, I hear something above the ceiling. Not footsteps, not knocking, just breathing. Slow, familiar. I don't know what really happened to my parents. Maybe they died on that trip. Maybe they never left at all. Sometimes I wonder if I've been living with the ghosts of my parents for years. Nobody knows. And I don't know if one day they'll come back, or if they're still waiting for me to return to the attic. I'm writing this because the tapping started again tonight, and it's closer than it's ever been. If I don't say this somewhere, I don't think I'll make it through the night. I worked the night shift at Miller's Grocery. Small store, nothing special. Just buzzing lights, cold floors, and a road out front that turned into a white tunnel every winter. Most nights, it was just me and Sam. Same hours, same routine, same bad coffee from the break room. Sam was good, not in a loud way. He didn't brag or try to impress anyone. He just showed up, worked hard, and left on time because his little sister was waiting at home. Everyone knew that about him. Old man Miller especially. I remember one night, Miller came out of his office while Sam was fixing a crooked shelf and said, "You know, kid, this place needs someone steady when I'm gone." Sam laughed. "I'm just trying to keep the cereal from falling over, sir." Miller smiled at him the way people smile when they've already made up their mind. That's exactly what I mean. I told myself I didn't care. I told myself it was just talk. Winter came down hard that year. The kind of cold that crawls under your clothes and stays there. January 14th was worse than usual. Snow was coming down sideways, and the radio kept warning people to stay off the roads. The store was empty, just me and Sam, counting the hours until morning. Around 1 a.m., we heard something outside. At first, it sounded like the wind hitting a loose sign. Then it changed. Sounded thin, human. Sam stopped stocking shelves and looked at me. "Did you hear that?" I shrugged. "Probably just the storm." Then it came again. Clearer. A scream. Sam walked toward the front window, wiping fog off the glass. That sounded like someone. I felt my stomach twist, but I kept my voice flat. No one would be out there in this. He didn't argue. He just grabbed his jacket. "If someone's hurt, I can't just stand here." He hesitated at the door, like he expected me to say something else. I didn't. "I'll be right back," he said. The door opened, and the cold rushed in so fast it stole my breath. The snow swallowed him almost immediately. I stayed where I was, watching the road through the glass, telling myself he'd come right back. Then the headlights appeared. Too fast, too bright. There was no screech, no horn, just a sound I can't describe without feeling it in my chest again. Sam vanished, and the snow turned dark in a way it shouldn't. They called it an accident. The driver said he thought he hit an animal. The police said storms confuse people. At the funeral, Miller kept shaking his head and saying he was supposed to take over this place. I told him he had the heart for it. A month later, Miller handed me the keys. "Sam would have wanted you to have this," he said. That's when the tapping started. 3 slow taps on the store window. Every night. Same time. Same rhythm. When I looked out, Sam stood at the edge of the road where he died. His jacket was torn, hanging wrong, like his body didn't fit in it anymore. He didn't walk toward me. He slid like the ground was moving him. Then he started talking. Not out loud. Inside my head. Through the speakers. Through the quiet. "Why didn't you come with me? I moved houses. Changed my routine. Nothing helped. He followed me. Tonight, he's standing on my porch, his face pressed against the glass, his eyes dark and empty, filled with something frozen and dead. My phone won't stop buzzing. Unknown number. Trucks early tonight. That's when I stopped lying to myself, because I remember Miller sitting across from me weeks before the storm, rubbing his temples and saying, "I can only choose one of you, and Sam has people depending on him." I remember the debts, the calls that said winter was the deadline. I remember the burner phone hidden in my pocket and the app that played a scream that wasn't real. I didn't push Sam into the road. I just made sure he stepped into it. I never told anyone. I paid off my debts. I took the promotion. I let everyone believe I survived something terrible instead of causing it. Now the door is opening on its own. Cold air pouring in, heavy with the smell of snow and road salt and something rotten underneath. Sam steps inside, quiet as always, and for the first time since that night, I don't look away. This was never about luck or accidents. It was about me choosing myself and calling it survival. And now the shift isn't over yet. I'm still shaking while I write this. I'm in a hospital bed. My arm is in a cast, and I can't stop looking at the door every time a nurse walks by. This isn't some scary story to me. It's what happened 3 nights ago, and I honestly think I'm losing my mind. My dad was a cop, a precinct commander, and he was obsessed with safety. He didn't just give me tips, he basically programmed me. "Leo, look at the plates. Check the driver. If the vibe is off, you don't get in." He treated the whole world like a trap. I used to roll my eyes at him, but I grew up being the perfect, safe kid because I was terrified of disappointing him. But New Year's Eve, I was just done. It was freezing, my phone was at 4%, and I'd been at this party for 8 hours. I just wanted to go home and sleep. This black car pulled up. I didn't look at my phone. I didn't check the plates. The guy looked normal. He was wearing a clean shirt and had this big, friendly smile. The exact kind of trustworthy look my dad always told me to watch for. "For Leo?" he asked. His voice was so calm. "Yeah," I said, stumbling into the back seat. "Thanks, man. It's a nightmare out here." "I know," he said, and then I heard it. Snick, snick. The child locks. I didn't even care. I was so warm and tired that I just leaned my head back. 5 minutes later, we turned onto the industrial bypass. There's nothing out there but old factories and rust. I sat up. "Hey, you missed the turn for 4th. He didn't say anything. He didn't even look at me. He just sat there, perfectly still, his hands gripping the steering wheel so hard I thought it would snap. My phone buzzed. 1%. A text from Uber. "Your driver, Marcus, is at the curb in a silver Toyota Camry." My heart literally dropped into my stomach. I looked at the guy in the front seat. No Camry. No Marcus. "Stop the car," I whispered. My voice sounded like a little kid's. He didn't stop. He floored it. 60, 70, 80. The warehouses were just gray blurs. I started screaming, "Stop the CR," and grabbing the handle, but it was dead. He finally looked at me in the mirror. That nice smile was gone. He looked hungry. He looked like he'd been waiting for this for years. "Your dad said check the plates, right, Leo?" he whispered. I felt like I couldn't breathe. How did he know about my dad? "I've been watching you for 3 years, waiting for you to be tired enough to forget. I know about Poland, Leo. I know about the hit and run. I know about the mud on your hands. I felt like I was being crushed. This wasn't just a kidnapping. He knew my shame. He knew the thing my family buried. He was taking me somewhere to finish what started in Poland. My phone went black. Total darkness. We were coming up on the old bridge. I knew if we crossed it, I was never coming back. My head was spinning, and suddenly I could almost hear my dad's voice. He's been dead 6 months, but in that moment, it was like he was sitting right there in the seat next to me, screaming the same thing he used to say when I was a kid. Better a broken bone than a dead son. Leo, do something. I didn't wait. I wrapped my jacket around my arm, braced myself against the seat, and kicked the side window with everything I had. Cracked, and the car swerved wild. For a split second, the computer must have glitched because the locks buzzed. I yanked the handle. I fell out into the street. The road felt like a meat grinder. I felt my skin tear away and my collarbone just snap. It made a wet pop sound. I rolled into a muddy ditch, gasping for air, my whole body screaming. I looked up and saw those red tail lights. He was backing up. He was coming back. I dragged myself, I don't even know how, into a drainage pipe. I sat in the filth, clutching my broken arm, trying to choke back my sobs so he wouldn't hear me. His shoes appeared. Shiny, expensive shoes. He didn't run. He just walked slowly, crunching on the gravel. He stopped right at the pipe and started whistling, "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star," really slow, over and over. He waited there for 10 minutes, just listening for me. He finally left, but I'm still trapped. The cops at the hospital think I'm crazy. They say there's no car on the cameras. No Marcus. They think I had a breakdown and jumped out of a random car. But they didn't see what the nurse brought me this morning. A carton of eggs and a silver lapel pin. It was my dad's service pin. The one he lost in Poland the night of the accident. And the eggs? They smelled exactly like the breakfast my mom made us that morning when she told us to forget everything. The note said, "Happy New Year, Leo. I've still got your bag. Dad says it's time to come home." I'm terrified. My dad didn't just teach me how to be safe from predators. He knew them. This guy wasn't a stranger. He was the family's secret. And now that Dad's gone, there's nobody left to pay him off. The worst part? I know he's not going to use an Uber next time. He has a key to my house.